Hello, TopFanRivalry followers, and welcome to. It's been a couple of weeks, but we've had some illnesses, all kinds of fun. I'm doing the intro for Lady and the Diamond. I am not the lady. That's Lina down there. You can see her. I'm just the sidekick or something like that. But anyways, we've got a guest tonight. We've got Kenna. She's going to talk to us all things Lina's show. Again, I'm so excited to do this. We're coming up to the end of baseball season. I can talk for hours about fun things, but I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid that Lina and Kenna will start snoring on me. And that's not an awesome thing. So, Lina, back to your show. Let's introduce Kenna. Let's talk to Kenna and let's find out some things. I mean, she is an Astro fan, so it's a little suspect in judgment. I mean, that's right. I mean, bang bang fastball type thing, but whatever, we'll deal with it. Lina,
Well,
how are you tonight?
thank you so much, but I really appreciate you taking the wheel because, as you mentioned, unfortunately, I was a little out of the weather. I would say, just out of the world. Like I literally checked out for a couple of weeks. So I appreciate you, just steering the wheel here for a second while I get back into motion. Like it feels like when you kind of step away from work or any projects that you have going on or any fun things that you have going on, you kind of have to like ease back into it. So thank you very much for the intro. And of course, we are super excited to have you here today. So thank you so much for joining us. So let's go ahead and start off with our first question of the night. So what are some of your first memories of baseball and when did you start to love it?
So I grew up playing softball. So I started playing softball right around the age of 4, and you started off with t-ball. And I just remember growing up playing softball, and over time, my brothers picked up baseball and they started playing travel ball, and I was traveling with them. And I remember when my brother was 12, we went to Cooperstown for that tournament, and how special it was and cool it was to see the Hall of Fame with all of the plaques, memorabilia, you name it, it's in there. Um, it's just my brothers, they really helped created that spark for baseball, and they definitely have created some of my earliest memories of loving the sport.
Aw, I love that. So you definitely have grown up around baseball, and that honestly makes a difference because when you see the behind the scenes of baseball, you grow a deeper appreciation for it. Like it's one thing to go to a game, right? But it's another thing to actually see the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it and all the investments that go into it, whether it be time, money, everything that makes the player better. So I think it's amazing. Now, were you a part of the softball tournament that TFR just had?
I wasn't. I got caught up
Oh,
in
okay.
school.
Okay, okay. Trust me, I understand. I was here trying to catch up with my life, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. As long as I've been out here in Texas now for whatever, a couple years, I'm yet to go to Houston. So I need to go to Houston just to experience an Astros game. And now we've talked about this, Bill. Yes, I am a diehard Dodgers fan. I will wear my Dodgers jersey going in there. However, I feel like as a sports fan, you always should experience, like, even if it's a different team, even if it's not your team, I think that it's a fun experience to go to a different ballpark and just taste the food, like enjoy the experience, because I'm sure everyone here can agree a baseball game is always going to be a good time.
Baseball game's
Absolutely.
always
Right.
going to be a good time. By the
Yeah.
way, you mentioned the softball tournament, and for
Yeah.
those of you that don't know yet, Bill pitched all 9 innings.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my
Bill
goodness.
Bill gave up 16 runs, 14 of them were earned. I had two
Wow.
strikeouts and got the W. I also went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs. So just call me Shohei Bill. I just want to get that on record right now. Okay, 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs, and I get the W. Forget the fact that I gave up 14 earned runs. That's side note. I did try to catch a line drive with my bare hand. That came right back at me, which was a mistake.
Oh my goodness.
Um, and so, we'll just call that even.
Or
But
Amber. Amber was probably watching like, oh my gosh, what is he doing?
she didn't see that. She didn't see that play.
Oh, okay.
And Megan heard it. Megan was in right field, and she heard it hit my hand, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yes, I've done this
that's
before. Yes, me, idiot. That's just from all the years of playing baseball."
Yeah, I gotta be honest, when I played softball, back in high school, it took one good hit on my shoulder from the pitcher that I was like, yeah, I quit. Like I never played again. And that's why when you invited me, I'm like, we'll see. We'll see because softball, I just feel like the softball literally hits different. It's just a whole different kind of sting, if you know what I mean. It just, yeah.
Well, we got one in Phoenix in November and one in here in Orange County in October. So you're going to be coming back to
Oh,
California
yes.
again in October to play softball. Kenna, you might be going to Arizona or something like that. Maybe we need to do it. The problem is you're on the East Coast, Kenna, and it's either extremely hot with 2000% humidity or bitter cold. And
Yeah.
so, if you can find me a time where we can get a softball game in where we're not interrupting little leagues and things like that, we'll do it. But you know what? I'm telling you, it is what it is.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you guys bring up injuries. My last ever at bat for softball was in the state semifinals for my senior year of high school, and I got drilled right in the knee.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep.
Last at bat ever, didn't get to hit. First pitch straight to the knee.
Yeah. I mean, anything worth doing is worth doing well, right? Going out on the IL. I mean, at least you got major league money as you went out, right? You
I
know.
wish.
Kenna, what keeps you watching the game?
All the records being broke this year and just the baseball in general, I don't think there's anything that could take it away from me. It's the fans, the experience, the teams that you get to watch. Even if I'm not watching the Astros, I'll watch the Orioles or the Nationals or whatever game is on. There's always something entertaining and lovable about watching just a baseball game, whether it's in person or at home.
Yeah, I have to tell you, Kenna, why the Orioles? I mean, is there anybody that you know that likes the Orioles?
So Aiden's an Orioles fan, but if we want to go back 10 or so years, one of my brother's first ever travel coaches played for the Orioles. And one of the first ever Major League Baseball games that I had went to was an Orioles Nationals game at Camden Yards. And it struck me, and I'm like, I have no hate for the Orioles. I'm like, they're a fun team to watch. They're gonna grow. And another thing too about the Orioles is growing up where I lived, their AAA team is super, super close to where I am. And I've seen all these guys come up over the last few so years. So I've seen Adley, I've seen Gunner, Holiday. I watched him play over the summer. You name the player, I've seen them come up for the Orioles. So they're just a fun team to watch right now, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do over the next 5 or 6 years.
So Aiden, when you listen to this back, she said it's because of you. Everything else is an appendage. It's because of you. So just Aiden,
100%.
I got you, brother. All right. By the way, Lina, that's her boyfriend, her current boyfriend. So
Okay, got it.
go Aiden. I'm
Makes
team
sense.
Aiden here on this one.
It makes sense. All right. So, what's more exciting to you, spring training or October baseball?
Postseason baseball.
Yes, I agree. I
I
agree.
I love spring training baseball. It's the beginning of the year. I mean, we're getting to see, oh, who did you sign in the off season or who are we finally pulling up? But there's just something that's so special about postseason baseball. My dad used to pick me up from school starting in 2017. He'd pick me up from school early as can be, and we'd go somewhere and watch the game, whether it was home or at a restaurant or something. We stayed and watched that entire game. So, and I remember back in my senior year, in 22, when we had won it during the ALDS game one versus the Mariners, I had to leave because I had a volleyball game. And when I left, we were getting blown out, and I was like, dang, we're gonna have to play all these games and waste all this pitching. And right before our game had started, my dad walked in and is like pointing at his phone, and I'm like, I can't like pay attention to you, like I have to warm up. And right as the game started, my dad shoots up in the air, hands up, screaming, and my coach is like, figure out what's going on. And I walk over, and Jordan Alvarez walked off the game.
Mm.
So I don't know, there's something always interesting about postseason baseball that I'm like, either if anyone in the postseason's fun to watch because you never know what's gonna happen.
spring training's fun because you get to like it's baseball's back type thing. And if you go to a spring training thing, Lena, have you ever done spring training in Phoenix?
So I went to Arizona for coincidentally a Padres spring training. We won't get into that, but I ended up there. But it was, it was a cool experience. So
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's but I agree with you. October baseball. So Kenna, uh, favorite ballpark. Tell me your favorite MLB ballpark, and then tell me two ballparks that you haven't been to that are just on your bucket list. You can't wait to go.
So y'all are gonna be shocked, but my favorite ballpark is Camden Yards because I've grown up going there and the atmosphere is a lot of fun. I was just there a little under a month ago now. It's always a fun experience. The fans are nice. Food's good. The experience, all of it's amazing. Two ballparks that I'm excited to visit would have to be Truist and probably the Rogers Center.
Okay. Toronto and Atlanta. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so one of the things that we do on Lena's show, Kenna, and you got to be prepared for this. This is like
Okay.
rapid fire. So we play a game called Finish This Sentence. Lena came up with this. I think it's ingenious because it's so much fun, right? So we're going to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions and you're just going to answer. And we're not necessarily looking for you to tell us how the world was created. Just finish the freaking sentence,
All
right?
right.
It doesn't say finish the novel or finish the encyclopedia. It's just finish the sentence.
All
So
right.
Lena, it's your game. Start us off. Let's go.
all right, here's first pitch here. All right, so the Astros are
Your 2024 World Series champions.
that is very confident. But I mean, let's be real. She has a reason to feel that way. Now, if she was a, I don't know, different teams fan, I'd be like, you are so delusional right now. That's cute. But being that, I've been here in Texas, and one thing I love about Texan fans is that they go hard for their teams. Like they are diehard fans. So I can appreciate the fact that she is like riding on the fact that they're going to be, World Series champs.
Yep. I
So
have all confidence.
I just got a message in my ear from the Top Fan Rivalry Sports Desk. It said that Kenna's answer has been translated into the Astros are going to make the playoffs and be in a first round exit.
No.
I'm just reading what I was told in my ear.
Oh,
That's all.
that's
That's
the
all.
Cowboys. That's typically the Cowboys, but that's different. It's a different conversation. We know
All
the
right, Kenna, the GOAT in your mind is
Nolan Ryan.
oh, good call. Love that.
All right. When I go to the ballpark, the first thing I get is,
Autographs and pictures with players.
oh, wow.
Anytime that I go to a baseball game, I'm in line like an hour before gates open. When I was at Camden last month, we were in line about an hour before the gates open. I was like, I want to be the first people in. I want to get it done. And the gates open, and you could ask anyone that I ever go to a baseball game with. I'm like, I know where the seats are. See you at first pitch.
I love that because me personally, I am usually stumbling in after, I don't know, like the first quarter. It's just really, I'm really bad with being on time for games, like really, really bad. But I admire your dedication because that's awesome.
Thank you.
Focus Kenna on the word stumbling, where she says,
For
she
pregame.
might be pre-gaming in the parking lot. So focus on the word stumbling as
Gotcha.
she's
It's just like it's almost like a tradition now where we're like, hey, we're gonna make it to the game. The time is flexible. So we will get there when we get there. Because when you think about it, baseball games are usually, long games. So you can typically start watching it or listening to it in the car and then just enjoying, the atmosphere because there's nothing like a Dodgers game. There really isn't. Like I've gone to Dodgers games at other stadiums, but it just doesn't compare to like the actual Dodgers stadium. I don't know what it is about like the energy there, but it's just always so much fun and you just have to like participate in the fun.
So Kenna, I love that of what you said that because as a kid, that's what I did. As an adult, I I like to get there when the gates open, get my food. I already know where my seats are at, get my food, hang out, kind of get the atmosphere and the culture of the ballpark that I'm at, and really kind of get the vibe and the feel. You know this, Kenna, but in 4 days, in 4 days, we went to Yankee Stadium, Citizens or City Field, Fenway, and Citizens Bank in Philadelphia. And getting the atmosphere and getting the culture and things like that. The autograph thing, I love doing that, but I'm also darn near 50 and I don't want to push some kid out of the way. I'd rather the kid get the autograph type thing. So, all right, to go along with Lena's finish the sentence question right there, I'm going to ask you one too. My least favorite thing at a ballpark is
Rude fans.
Oh,
I have had my fair share of rude fans over the last few years after the whole cheating scandal got out. I won't go into too much detail, but I have been told some things that I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. But definitely rude fans, but at the same time, rude fans I feel like also make the experience because I love to call them out, especially when they boo Altuve and then Altuve goes yard.
well, part of that is because he's standing on a box because he's not 5'9" like they say.
All right, so last but not least, top fan rivalry is
The best family.
I like the way you answer that. I like the way you answer that. Good, good. Lena, I love having Kenna on. She is so much fun.
yeah.
I agree with her on the rude fans. The ones that I don't like are ones that don't know how to watch their mouth. I don't care what you say and how you say it. I do care if there's kids around and you say things that kids and life is going to eat them up early enough. We don't need to teach them stuff that they don't already know, right?
Great.
Let's give life the chance to beat them up on their own. They don't need to do it at a baseball game. And so,
Yeah. I think for me, like if someone says something rude to me, like I just know how to be witty back. And so, we'll just both be saying things back and forth to each other. So it will just be never ending. We're both just gonna sit there and exhaust each other. But honestly, like I've never had like a bad experience, although I did go to a Giants game where the Giants fans were trolling me. Because obviously I was there as a Dodgers fan, but I mean, they got swept that entire week by us, so it was very easy to, come back at them. But generally, I always just have a great time at games, and I feel like because of the way I look, they probably know better than to mess with me. Like as soon as they see the hoop earrings, they're like, "Yeah, we're not messing with her." So it's not really an issue. But I just feel like, hey, if you're at a baseball game, how can you be angry? Like, how can you be angry? Like, we're all here to have a good time. So cheers. Let's have a good time and enjoy the game. But thank you so much for joining us today. It was definitely a pleasure to get to know you and to know the love that you have for baseball. It definitely runs deep. So welcome to the Top Fan Rivalry family. And I'm sure we'll be running into each other very soon.
Thank you guys for having me.
you bet. Thanks, Kenna. Thanks for being on. Lena, as usual, you always do awesome. I want to grow up and be as good as you. The problem with that, Lena, is I just don't plan on growing up. That's my issue.
You and me both. You and me both.
There you go. Have a good one, all.
Thank you.